Welcome back to the Q Method Show, where we talk all things fitness and sales and how to level up really in every area. I've got an awesome guest today with me. His name is Chris Roberts, a father, just a very successful guy in his own right. And I'm excited to dive into his story personally, professionally, really what makes him who he is and his mindset in life. So thanks for coming on the show, Chris. How we doing?
Yeah. Yeah, of course. Doing good, man. Happy to be here.
Let's go, man. Well, I want to start with just a little bit of your story, man. So, like, if you were to just give us a little synopsis of your story, and you can go back as far as you want, kind of give us your story a little bit.
Yeah, man, I feel fortunate. I feel super blessed. Like, grew up in an amazing family. Had a lot of friends like growing up through sports and different things. I feel like a lot of my story takes off, as I served a mission, as I got back from a mission, kind of went to school, realized pretty quickly going through school, like I needed to provide a way, so got into sales and did that while in school. I'm a very competitive person, so throughout high school and growing up, I played a lot of sports. And as I worked and as I got back from my mission, wanted to keep that competitive level going, and so I found ways to compete with myself. Really, I didn't play any college sports, but I kind of looked at the college sports that I lived around and wanted to work out like them, train like them, and then that's kind of inspired, my journey with fitness, if you will. So, that's been a big part of my life. But again, going through school, got married to Quinn's sister here. Quinn is my
Haha, there we
brother-in-law.
go.
So
Yeah.
feel fortunate about that. And, now I've got almost 2-year old. So just, maintaining goals with fitness, which I'm sure we'll dive into a little bit, but and then being a family man
Awesome. Okay. Sweet.
and
Well,
slinging some deals too.
yeah, heck yeah, you gotta sling the deals. All about it. Sales,
Yeah.
man. So let's go back. Let's go back, I guess, to your mission, man. Like, what was that like? Serving a mission, and what did that teach you, I guess? And did that help you kind of propel you into that next phase of school and then kind of sales?
Yeah. No, absolutely. Man, I wanted to serve a mission. I think the main reason is because of, the blessings and the life that I had received through Jesus Christ and,
Yeah,
his sacrifice for us. So wanted to share that with the people.
yeah,
What it did for me, I would say, is like I'm a pretty introverted person naturally, but it taught me a lot about myself. Like that
yeah,
if I'm passionate about something, that I can share it and I can, build the confidence and talk to people. And that's what, a mission, a lot of it is about, is just talking to random people and
yeah,
spreading the good word. So it
yeah.
was cool to be able to see that. And we all know, like, through different challenges, we
Hmm.
learn a lot about ourselves. So that
Yeah.
that was one for sure.
No, that's awesome. What a great point. I'm very similar. I'm more of the introverted person as well, and so I think a
Yeah.
mission that's a great point with how it opens you up. And man, talk about talking to people. It's all day, every day, right? You're
It's true.
you're you're
Man.
yeah, you're in it. Okay, cool, man. Well, from there, I guess I know like from high school and whatnot, you played basketball, right?
Yep. Yep.
Mainly you were basketball all in there. From there, dude, like talk to me about like going to school and selling. How did that happen? And like, what were you going to school for? And kind of like, I guess, how that helped you as well.
Yeah. Kind of interesting. So I was on path to study information systems, and I guess I should say I graduated in information systems. So
Got it.
very, very distant from sales in the sales world in a lot of ways, but wanted to like still enjoy the things of life, and as a college student, as much as you can. And
Yeah.
so sales was kind of one of the college jobs that I felt like could,
Mm,
it's different than maybe a food service or whatever. And so
yeah.
did sales. I'll be honest, like, I didn't love it to start.
Mm,
I had a pretty negative perspective or outlook on sales. I thought, hey, and it was inbound sales where I worked.
Okay.
It was like you just get leads and your task is to close that lead and attach additional products to that. And so I just viewed it as, hey, you more got lucky. If you had a good day, like it was
Yeah.
lucky,
Yeah.
which is not the right mindset to have in life or in any,
Mm,
in anything. And so anyways, I didn't really enjoy the job, to be honest.
mm,
I was fairly I did pretty well at it. And I would say the reason being is because I was like part time, I was pretty like honed in. Like I showed up to the office and I would lock in for, the 5 hours, 6 hours that I was there and go pretty much all in the time that I had. And that allowed me to be successful, but I I I did not enjoy it. I could say that. It was a
yeah.
struggle to go into work and then go to
Man.
school after work or vice
Yeah.
versa.
Yeah. No, those beginning parts of sales, yeah, I struggled as well. It was hard for me. I started with the door to door, so I was knocking. I wasn't getting those inbound leads, but I remember like my first
Yeah.
week, man, I didn't get a single sell, and I'm like thinking, man, I'm just terrible at sales. Like this is not for me, right? But
Yeah.
it sounds like you were kind of just like not sure if you were good or bad. Just kind of felt like, hey, things were just, hey, it happens, it happens. That's interesting.
Yeah. And
How
that perspective has changed,
I was gonna
but
ask, yeah, I
over
was gonna
time,
ask,
but yeah.
how's that changed now, I guess? What's your perspective now with sales?
Yeah. So I've been at the job that I'm at now for a little over 5 years. And that's kind of been where I feel like I've really dived into sales. As you can tell, maybe like I have not, I graduated in information systems, did not go that path, have actually stuck with sales since. And um yeah, I think my perspective has changed in the sense that, you eat what you kill. You
Yeah.
can write your own story, and that's what I believe in life is you have the opportunity to write your own movie in a sense. And,
Mm.
and so if you take accountability, you take ownership of everything that you do, you can drive the outcomes that you're seeking. So,
Oh, that's awesome, man. I love that. That's cool. So, what would you say is one of like the biggest challenges or seasons of your life that you've gone through, and how has that shaped you to who you are today? Because I think everybody goes through, I don't know if it's called the refiner's fire or just a time that's been harder, or there's been seasons where you're like, man, this is rough. It can be in your sales career or just in your life. What have those been like, and how has that shaped you?
yeah, maybe in my life, like having a baby was a wake up call. Having a baby, like one, I'll say, is the most incredible experience.
Yeah,
Like that is for sure.
yeah,
But you realize a lot of like what your weaknesses are. I quickly realized, hey, like I need to be less selfish. It's not about me anymore. It's about, taking care of my family and my newborn child. And I would say that was a big wake up call for me.
yeah,
And
yeah.
how do you keep going forward with your life, but with kind of another priority introduced?
Just kind of made it even more difficult a little bit, when you add the baby in there.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
I remember, when I had, obviously, I'm a dad as well, and I remember that day I was like, man, I got to make more money. I got to do more sales. I got to be more than what I'm doing right now. I'm not even, I felt almost like this push to just grow in every area. Would you say that you kind of felt that as well?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And since like I'll say this, like one thing that's actually been on my mind a lot lately is like pressure is a privilege.
Mm,
Like we have a privilege that we have an awesome family that we get to provide for. And so my perspective has changed, over the 2 years since I've had a baby, but like
yeah.
now I see that pressure is like, hey, that's awesome. Now I have some extra motivation to like go and be great. You know what I mean?
Totally. Yeah, no, I've felt the same way with that. I think it totally brings, I think it brings the best out of people. And it's one of
Yeah.
those things where you're never ready for it, but for those out there that aspire to be a dad, It's awesome, and it'll definitely level up every area of your life. If you want to level up, man, you just have a
Yeah.
kid, and you'll be pushed. You'll be pushed to that
Yeah.
place. Okay, so what about in terms of sales, man? You talked about going from this place of like where your perspective completely shift. I want to know if there's things that you would say separate a good sales rep. You I know that you've trained a lot. You've been a leader, right, in sales, and so you have a good perspective. And I want to know what you think, like what makes somebody good in sales. What is it? Are they born with it? Is there certain traits, right? Because like what would you say in your eyes is what separates someone from being like a great sales rep and somebody that's honestly just mediocre and it's probably going to just burn out.
Yeah, there's a few things. I mean, I think the big thing comes down to grit, right? Sales is like you're getting a lot of no's, you're getting the rejection, you're kind of going after it day after day. Sometimes you don't know what the results are going to be on the other side, but you got to keep pushing forward. And so, grit I think is got to be at the front of that list.
Hmm.
And I don't know if this varies by industry. I would imagine it's pretty standard across sales, but I would say the ability to discover, right?
Mm,
So if you're connecting with someone and you're hoping to sell them a product, like you've got to be able to discover what their pain points are, what their challenges are, and deliver a solution that's tailored to that, right? And again, like I think the the depth of that discovery probably varies industry by industry. But like at the end of the day, and this is where my perspective of sales changed, is like you are solving problems for people. And so you've got to be able to understand those problems and consult and recommend a solution for them. Man, and this goes into grit, but like you've got to be able to eat what you kill. Typically, you're not just living off of leads. So you've
yeah,
got to be able to hunt, and connect with people. Sometimes that means making the cold calls and doing the dirty work.
yeah.
But, typically that's some of the drivers. Yeah, those are some things that come top of mind. Yeah.
No, that's great. Grit. I completely agree. You got to have that grit at the beginning, especially at the beginning to get and, understand sales and kind of get past that sucky place, right, in sales. And I think
Yeah.
it's not like it's just like gravy after that, but I think you do got to get through that spot. No, I love it. I think that's super true. I would agree. I think I've learned that sales isn't as much about the closing and being able to have all these magic words and like being able to close someone. Is more about the discovery. And I completely agree. If you can discover the problems, if you can walk someone through, what's going on, that is actually where the sale is made, not later. So I completely agree. That's a very good point. But that makes a ton of sense to me. So when it comes to, I guess let's go to your fitness a little bit, man. So first of all, Chris just ran a marathon, and we're gonna talk about that. First of all, like what inspired you to decide to just run a marathon?
Yeah, man. I mean, both my parents have ran a marathon. My mom, especially, she ran in college and
Yeah.
she's done a handful. And so like I've grown up around it, and it was always kind of on my bucket list. It's
Mm,
something that I was like, hey, eventually in life, like I'd like to do.
yeah.
To be honest, like, I've been lifting a lot, and like I consider myself, pretty well versed, do pretty well and with lifting and stuff. But it
Nice.
became a little bit stale. And the
Okay.
reason for that is I just didn't have much of a goal with it. And so,
Mm,
I started to be like, huh, maybe let's run a marathon. And so did my
yeah.
first marathon last year, and I tried to maintain the lifting as well, but
Yeah.
marathon last year and then did my second marathon this year at
Okay,
sub
that was your
3.
second.
So,
Okay, let's go.
yep,
Sub
yep.
three. For those that don't know, that's pretty dang fast. Pretty freaking awesome, especially for your second. So awesome deal there. What did that process teach you, man? About I don't know, consistency. I'm sure there was a lot of consistency there, mental toughness. Like what did you learn from this process over the last 2 years of running marathons?
Yeah, consistency is the number one thing for, yeah.
Mm,
So like year one, and then this year I did like an 18-week training program, and the training is It's the worst part of the marathon. It's long. There's a lot
Yeah.
of Saturdays where you're just running for 3 hours. But
Mm,
then there's a lot of like challenging runs throughout the week. Like speed work is what I, did a lot of this year. Anyways, like you just got to show up and do the work. And some days, like there were runs where I'm like, crap, like I'm not going to be able to do this, or I'm not going to be able to achieve my goal. Like it just
hmm.
kicked my butt. And then there's
Yeah.
other runs where it's like, you're just on cloud nine, and I was, just feeling myself like, hey,
Yeah.
like we're gonna get this, and like, so it's kind of a mixed bag, but through it all, you just got to show up and put in the work.
Nice. Consistency. Biggest thing. Nice, man. What for you, like in terms of your training and habits and whatnot with that, how did that change from lifting? You said, you were lifting, things kind of got a little stale, but like with the training with the marathon, how did that change all of a sudden? Like, was your routines a lot different? Did you train differently? Like, I'm assuming you had to completely kind of, did you give up lifting altogether? Did you still balance it pretty well? How did that go? Because I know like it's pretty different, right? Like, training to just lift and training to run look a lot different. Like, what was that like? I mean, were you mainly just running, or did you still incorporate both?
Yeah, so the way it worked for me, and again, like it required some sacrifice. Like I had to wake up a
Mm-hmm.
little extra earlier to have a little extra time to run and lift. But
Yeah.
at the beginning of the training, like I was still lifting about 3 to 4 times a week,
Okay.
pretty regularly. I did like shorten my workouts a little bit, but pretty kept them, I would say, pretty close to the same as I was doing before. And then midway through the training, so like week 9, if you will, 9 and 10, like at that point, I'm probably dropping to like 3.
Mm.
And then towards the end of the training, it got to a point where I was lifting 1 to 2 times a week. And then I think
Yeah.
the last week or two, I was like 0, so no lifting the last 2 weeks. So yeah, I mean, my thing is like I enjoy lifting more than I like running,
Mm.
and so I didn't want to completely cut it out, and then I also wanted to
Yeah.
maintain muscle,
Yeah.
and that also contributes to the running as well. Is you still got to have like the upper body muscle, especially the lower body muscle is still helpful for the race. So wanted to continue to develop that. When you talk about training, like one thing that also changed is just diet, right? So
Mm.
carbs become your fuel and your friend.
Yeah.
So trying to introduce that into the diet a little bit more, and learning more about like which carbs are good, which ones maybe like don't allow you to feel super great, and
Hmm.
how do you avoid those. So definitely things I started to think about throughout the marathon
Yeah.
training.
Nice, dude. That's awesome. Carbs are not bad, right? They're not. They're not the
Yeah,
enemy. I always
yeah,
say that.
we love them.
Yeah, especially running, man, for sure. Okay, cool. Well, that's awesome, man. That's amazing that you did that. Definitely something that's not an easy task. So really, really cool. What for
Thanks
you,
for
like
having me.
how have you how do you feel like your fitness has impacted you? I always like asking my guests in terms of how it translates into other areas. So for you, is there a time in your life where maybe you've slacked off on your fitness and you've noticed, hey, this is impacting how I show up, or this is impacting my sales, or this is impacting my relationships? And what would you say to people that um, think that it doesn't correlate? Do you feel like when you have your fitness in check, it helps you in other areas of your life?
Yeah, absolutely. Like it's pretty remarkable the difference in how I feel, like both mentally and physically,
Hmm.
when I'm working out versus when I'm not. Like the stints where I've haven't worked out, like self-confidence starts to drop, like energy levels start to drop, just your optimism and passion and levels of happiness, at least for me, like those are things that all like took a hit right through those stints.
Yeah.
But when I'm like And I'm a believer, like, you got to work out in the morning.
Mm, you're a morning
Some
guy,
people
okay?
think differently. I'm a morning guy. Because I think you get up, you get the hard done the first thing of the day. It teaches you a little bit about yourself, and then I mean, it infuses your day, to be honest. Like, I truly feel like and this is maybe a negative thing, but like, I feel like I treat people differently. Like, I can notice a difference on the days that I go to the
Yeah.
gym versus the days that I don't. Hopefully, like, I can get to a point where that's not the case necessarily, but at the same time, like, I definitely, like, it's a pretty immediate impact of how I feel going to the
Yeah.
gym versus not.
No, that's super interesting. I couldn't agree more. I'm a morning
Especially,
guy as well. Go ahead.
yeah, especially in sales too. Like,
Mm,
I've heard it put this way, like, sales is a transfer of energy. So going through that workout in the morning, like, gives you that energy. It locks in that energy. And so you show up to work, like, and I think you bring that into your calls or into your meetings.
nice. No, that's great. Yeah, I agree. I think going to the gym in the morning is crucial. It's huge for me, like with my routine. Like I get to the gym super early. Like I'm talking 5 a.m. And that changed
Yeah.
from like I used to go at 8, 9 a.m. all the way back. And it really the biggest thing that changed was when I had a son. I'm like, I gotta go before he wakes up. So like he wakes up pretty early, 7 a.m. So I gotta be going early. And
Yeah.
I completely agree. The way you show up, the way you feel is it's going to translate. Sales is a transfer of energy. I couldn't agree more. For you, what would you say is like your process to stay? Because, dude, you're in great shape, phenomenal shape. Like, you're dialed. Like, what does that look like for you? How many times a week are you training? Any tips that you would give some of the guys out there that are listening to this that want to get in good shape, want to look good? Like, what are some things that you've done that you'd say, hey, like, this is where I'd start? Like, take this, or I don't know, anything that you do, any tips, tricks there,
Yeah.
tactical things.
Yeah. For me, like, and these are things I've learned over the years, right?
Yeah.
But I think you've got to have a blueprint. You've got to have a plan. Some people have a plan, but then they also don't have a goal. So I think you got to have
Mm,
both. You got to have a goal. There have been times where I haven't had a goal and I just show up to the gym and that's where I'm sitting scrolling on my phone, do a
yeah.
lift, go back to your phone. The
Mm,
goal is what helps me, have a pretty efficient workout and motivates me, like, as I'm at the gym. And then I think you've got to have a plan. I think there's something to, paying for a program or paying for help, get some skin in the game.
mm,
I can understand, like, maybe that doesn't fit everyone's situation, but I do think, like, that will help you drive results
yeah.
for, people that are looking to get into it. Like, um, it's all about, like, especially if you're going in the morning, like, your nighttime routine,
Mm,
that affects tremendously, like, what you're doing and how you make it to the gym. Make it, if you've read the book, I know you have, Quinn, Atomic Habits. So I think you
great
recommended it
book.
to me. But I love how it talks about, like, how, making habits easier, like making the good habits easier. So, like, I'll set my gym attire out every evening, and, like, I
Mm,
already, like, I don't have to make a decision of, like, what I'm gonna have to wear in the morning, and that helps me get to the gym. My pre-workout, all my supplements, whatever, it's all laid out the night before. So, like, I'm just cruising in the morning. I'm basically like a robot, just on its,
yeah.
programmed to do all the things in the morning. So, I mean, maybe I'd start there. Yeah.
Nice. Nice. That's really good. The nighttime routine is what's going to get you to go to the gym in the morning. If you're going to the gym in the morning, if I'm hearing you right, and you're saying that you just it's almost like automatic. It's not like you wake up, no matter how you feel, you do these things and you go to the gym type of deal. So you're not like negotiating because this is true. Like sometimes you wake up and you're like, I don't know if I want to go, or you just have those like slow movements and whatnot, and you're fighting yourself. But if you have kind of that night routine to set it up, you're saying that it just kind of flows.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Look, like I'm not perfect, so there's
Yeah,
definitely mornings from like it was a rough night of sleep, and like I'm going back to bed.
totally.
The evening routine like will help you overcome much more of that
Yeah,
versus like if you don't have that evening routine.
that's awesome.
So
That's awesome.
like again, like make it. Listen, I've been going to the gym in the mornings for like close to 10 years, maybe
Yeah.
not that long, but like it's been a while, and like it's still a challenge. So like hate to break anyone's hope there, but like it's never easy. But like I think my whole thing is like make it as easy on yourself as possible. So go to bed at a good hour. We talked about the evening routine, lock that in. Hopefully that makes it that much easier just to get there in the morning.
Mm. What is your routine in terms of training? How many times a week do you go to, are you typical, let's just go like a typical, I don't know, typical week. How many times do you go? And then are you doing, I don't know, some people are doing full body every day, upper, lower. Have you played around with that? Or is it, push pull legs? I don't know. What does your routine look like
Yeah.
that way? And what do you think's best
Yeah.
from your
Yeah,
perspective?
I've mine's kind of evolved. Mine's kind of
Hmm.
evolved over the years,
Hmm.
depending on the season a little bit, and
Yeah.
with marathon or the running going on, like that's also influenced it. But right now I'm about 4 to 5 days a week.
Okay.
So I've gone back to prioritizing lifting. So I'll lift first and then still trying to maintain some running.
Nice.
So then I'll run second. But I'm yeah, like a push pull legs and then a full body is what I'm typically doing, and then I do like a
Yeah.
long run on Saturdays. So I'm looking at getting into like high rocks. I want to try that out a little bit. So I might even incorporate like a fifth day where I'm just doing some high rocks. So,
Dang.
but I would say like push pull legs has kind of been my thing, and then maybe a full body to kind of end the week.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's funny how it does change throughout. Like, you switch different things or you switch it up a little bit, but it sounds like that's kind of like your go-to. Push pull legs and then an upper body. That's awesome. I
Yeah.
like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've just so people know, like I've honestly changed a lot. Like I used to go 4 times a week, 5 times. I'm actually like in this phase where I'm like, I don't know what it is, where I'm like going three. I'm going Monday, Wednesday, Friday right now, and I like it. I feel good, and I'm not. I don't know. Obviously, on the days I'm not going to the gym, I'm still very active, getting in my steps. Like I'm going hard there, but you can find something that works. And I always tell like people that listen to this, like you don't have to go every day, right? You don't go every day, right? So it's yeah, you can win without making it every second of your life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I love what you said. Like on the days that you don't go, like you're still active. We live such like sedentary lifestyles. Like a lot of us are sitting, 8 hours a day and like
Hmm.
so you've got to find ways to move like throughout the day. And so I think that's cool that you mentioned that to your listeners. It's like, go for a walk with the family or go be outside, move a little bit, even if you're not like actually going to the gym, and that will pay off almost just as much if not as much as days in the gym. So
It's awesome. So when it comes to you being a dad, what lessons do you want your son to learn by watching you?
man, that's a good question.
Yeah.
Man, there's a saying, come what may and love it. That's kind of been a lot of my mindset in a lot of ways, is like we're thrown different challenges in life, but we're also uh, we're children of a God, and we're
Yeah.
built and created with the ability to get through these challenges. So
Mm.
as we have faith in Jesus Christ, and as we continue to improve ourselves, we're going to be able to overcome these challenges. There's not anything that like we're not built to overcome. And so some of that kind of spills into just an or maybe positive outlook in life. just come up, man, love it, whether it's a challenge or whether it's, uh, you know, an incredible experience in your life. Just soak in those moments and love it.
Yeah.
So
No, that's
that might be
great.
one lesson. Yeah.
That's great. I love that. Anything else you'd add? Sorry, I almost cut you off there.
No, you're good. I mean, working hard too, like, and self-improvement. I heard recently, like, just on the power of like improving, working on yourself, how that transfers to the people around you as well. Like, as you work on yourself, you're also in a position to make or help the people around you, like, all we can all improve together, which is kind of exciting to me. And so that takes a lot of work, a lot of effort. I hope, my son in whatever he does, like, is able to be all in and show up and do the hard. So
Yeah. No, that's awesome, man. It's really good. Very true. Being present, being grateful through the good and the bad is huge in life. That's amazing. What about this, Chris? Like, I have people ask me all the time, and I've heard a lot of time, right? Balance and how, you're supposed to balance everything and, this and that. And I just want to hear your perspective on balance, right? So, like, first of all, what's your take on balance and how do you have balance with family, work, fitness, faith, all the things? What would you say to that? Like, how do you operate, or what do you think about how does that manifest to you?
yeah, I would say good luck. No. So I've heard it put this way before. Like, if you've ever done like that game, maybe with your dad growing up, where you've got the balloons and you got to like keep them up in the air, right? And you're just
Hmm.
bumping them up in the air. I've heard it kind of compared to that. Like, you've got your balloon of fitness, you've got your balloon of family, you've got your balloon of work, right? And
Yeah.
it's a juggling act. Like, at one point, like, one of them's going to be dropping a little bit, and you've got to like
Hmm.
immediately address that and get that one back up. And then the other one's going to be like dipping a little bit. And so I've heard it put this way, like, you're not going to, in my opinion, like, you're not going to find like a perfect balance. It's never going to be perfectly balanced. But as long as you're like giving the proper attention where you need to, and you're all in when you do that, like, I
Hmm.
think if you take a step back and you look at the big picture, like, that would be balance. So
Mm.
the application of that is tough. Like, again, like, I don't know if I have like the perfect, hey, do this or do that, but
Yeah.
I think like addressing those things, especially when you feel like they're starting to take a hit, and then, as you address them, or when you're spending time on those different things, like, just that you're all in with it. And that's what's helped me. I've tried to be better of like not being on my phone as much around my son. And when I'm at work, I'm terrible. Quinn probably knows this. Like, I'm pretty bad at texting. And so sometimes when I'm at work, I'm like, just those texts aren't getting the responses because I'm just trying to like focus on the one thing, the one task at hand. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so that's my take on it. There's probably a lot of different opinions, but like, just that there's no perfect balance, but you can address it as when it merits it or when it needs it, and then be all in as you do address it. So
Yeah. No, that's very interesting perspective. So you're saying, like, and if I'm the things that I took from what you said, man, is like you're balancing the plates, and sometimes you got to focus on the one plate that, or the one balloon that's falling down, right? And that's got to be your focus, right? And I liked what you said. When you zoom out, it can look like balance, but in the moment sometimes it doesn't, right? And when you're at work, like, you're just focused on that, and when you're at home, right, you're just focused on that. And so I think that's a great way of looking at it. And I couldn't agree more. Like, one of the things I remember is, I think it was something that actually Elder Bednar said in a talk, something about the plates spinning, right? And how
yeah,
we really do go through phases where we're working sun up to sundown, or we're doing, and he said even he had phases like that where he's barely with his family, he's barely doing these things, and you just have to be present, and you just have to realize that it's just going to be a season, right? And then there'll be another season where it might be unbalanced the opposite way, And so I'm always looking at that way. Like from a long term perspective, it might look more balanced, but day to day in life, it's never going to be that way.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's no, spot on. And I think what's cool, the seasons of life, or maybe even the days where you are,
Hmm.
you're working extra hours, or it makes you appreciate that much more, like the way that you go home to your family, like
Yeah.
all of a sudden, like going home to your family is not maybe that not that it wasn't before, but like
Yeah.
now it's the greatest thing ever. Because you're
Totally.
like, hey, I need a change of scenery. I need,
Hmm.
something new. So I think
Yeah.
that's what's cool about it too, is when you are all in, it makes those areas of your life, I think, better as you when you do like shift your focus to it, if that makes
Totally.
sense.
Totally. And I'll never forget from the documentary of Michael Jordan. You guys can watch on Netflix or whatever, but the moment that I'll never forget in that show is this guy says Michael Jordan was amazing in everything, but the biggest thing that made him so great was his presence. He was just present in every moment. He wasn't thinking about the next thing or this thing or that thing. He was just here and he was just giving it his all in the moment. And that's kind of what you remind me, when you said that, just be all in,
Yeah.
where you're at, what's going on in your life. And because if you do that, then you can be all in with your family. But if you're not all in at work, or if you're not all in with your fitness, guess what you'll be thinking about with your family? you know, one or the other thing that's
Yeah.
going down the
Yeah.
drain, right? So I totally
Yeah.
agree, man. I
Yeah.
totally agree. And I've been there, where things are going down the drain and that's all you can think about. But that's great. Great advice there. Okay. What I'm going to do now is I got some questions to just kind of hit you with some, I don't know, a little bit more of some rapid fire here. So, what
Yeah.
would you say is like, I guess, your morning routine, if you were to break it down for our audience? Just, I don't know, a few things that you do in your morning routine, if you have one, or certain things that you like to have in your morning.
Yeah. Uh, so yeah, I'm usually getting up around 5 o'clock, sometimes a little bit earlier. Sometimes I'm a snoozer, so that's one thing I'd like
Yeah.
to be better at, is just stop hitting the snooze button. But
Hmm.
usually I'm getting up at 5. Like I said, I'll brush my teeth, whatever, get dressed, got my clothes laid out, so don't have to think about which gym outfit I'm wearing. And
Yeah.
then I'm downstairs. I'm getting like pretty much all my morning fuel is ready to go. So I'll grab my
Nice.
pre-workout. If I'm doing a run, I've got kind of like this carbohydrate drink that
Nice.
just fuels my runs a little bit. Usually like a banana, something. So grabbing the fuel, hitting the gym. Again, we kind of talked about my lifting split and running, but right now, lifting first, running. I'll come
Hmm.
home, and then actually, it's a pretty awesome time of the day. I'll make like more of a breakfast, but
Yeah.
then Tiana will take off and go to the gym, and then it's just me and Beckham at home. And that I love that
Nice.
little like hour that we have together.
Yeah.
It gets pretty hectic between the two of
Eh.
us, and me still trying to get ready for work. But
Yeah.
and then usually I'm getting to work about 9 o'clock in the morning. So yeah, that's my routine.
Solid. What's one, I guess, yeah, you can give me one or a couple of your favorite books, man, like book that you'd say, and maybe it was the one that you already mentioned, but is there a book that you'd say, yeah, this is where this is the one that really helped me, or this is the one that I would go read.
Yeah, if you're not, you got to be following Quinn. For Quinn's listeners, you got to be following him because he's the one that has all the book recommendations. Atomic
It's
Habits is, I would say, that's my number
up
one.
there.
But I also did recently listen to the 5 a.m. Club as well. I know that's one that you
Nice.
like.
Yeah.
I like that book.
Yeah.
Pretty interesting, like perspective. But yeah, it
Totally.
makes you want to lock in and hone in your morning for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. No, that's good. Those are two great ones. I couldn't agree more. Um, and then most underrated skill for success.
Ooh, is it underrated? I don't know. I'm a big positive thinker.
Okay.
Like I'm big into that, and optimism sometimes is seen as almost like a negative word. Like, hey, you only see
Mm,
the glass half full, but But I would say optimism and positive thinking, believing
Interesting.
in yourself kind of, transfuses to that. So yeah, overall, like positive thinking, optimism.
That's awesome. And then favorite, I mean, you kind of mentioned a couple quotes earlier, but favorite quote or motto that you live by, and it could be something that you've already said.
Oof. Yeah, I'll go with come what may and love it. We'll go with that
Yeah,
one. Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
great. No,
There's a
I
handful.
like
I'm
that.
probably not the best at memorizing quotes, but
Yeah.
that's one that stuck with
That
me
comes
for
to mind.
sure.
Yeah, totally, totally.
Yeah.
And then, uh, what's one health habit that I guess you'll never skip or you don't want to skip?
Protein intake. I
Mm,
think simple thing, but like
money.
I think you've got to be hitting your protein. So a lot of people like neglect that or they're not getting enough.
Yeah,
You know, I think that's critical to like if you ever want to see results or energy levels and things like that.
that's awesome. Cool. And then this is the question that I typically end the show with most of the time here. I love the word success. I'm always striving for it, and my definition of success changes every year. I've realized. I used to think of it when I was younger like this, and now I think of it differently. Obviously, having kids and things, but for you right now, Chris, like what would you say is your definition of success?
The first thing that came to my mind, like now, is just that you're showing up to every facet of your life and you're giving it your all. So
Mm,
like if I were to say like, hey, Chris Roberts wants to be successful, like to me that means I'm like giving it my all as, as a father, husband, I'm giving it my all, like the best that I could do in that season of life, like in my career. I'm giving it my all with fitness and with health and my wellness, well-being. And I think that is a big part of the definition of success for me. Like,
yeah.
in the different aspects of my life, like I'm all in.
Mm,
I also think, I'm a big believer in like continual learning, so listening to podcasts, listening to or reading books, listening to books, studying scriptures and different things like that. Like
yeah.
hopefully, we're continuing to learn. And that
Yeah.
helps me or people in general, I think, just improve and be better. So
Great definition. Awesome. There's no right answer there. Like, and it can
it's
change
a
next
long
year, right?
definition. Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
great definition. Chris, I love it. Thanks so much for being on. It's been a solid show. You're someone that I look up to. You're a leader. You're a great father. You're killing it in business and life and sales, and you're freaking running marathons every other year, man. So it's pretty amazing what you're doing. Since we're filming this before we've got the Holy War on, I guess who do you got, man? I think I already know your answer, but we got Utah or BYU later.
Let's go Cougs.
All
Yeah, we got
right,
the
all right.
Cougs.
We got
I
it. We
think it's
got
a
one for the Cougs here.
yeah, Cougs win
What's your score?
by
Let's
we'll
go.
go with
Yeah,
two
let's go
points.
score. 2 points.
Man.
Let's go. Let's get a
Let's
score.
see.
Yeah, let's get a score. By the way, this podcast probably will come out next, so it'll probably be like a week or two later from the actual game. But hey, we're doing this before the game, by the way. So go ahead.
so,
What's your score?
so this better be good. Man, let's go 24-22. Cougs win.
Ooh, that's good. That's real
So
good. Nice. I
we'll
love it.
see, man. It's gonna be close.
Yeah, it will
Yeah.
be a great game. Obviously, I got Utah, and I'm gonna go 20. Oh man, I'm gonna go 2017. Pretty low scoring game. We'll see though. I don't know.
Okay.
We'll
Okay.
see what happens. Okay, well, thanks
It's a
so much,
rivalry game,
Chris.
man. You never know.
Oh, dude, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be exciting. Thanks everybody
Yeah.
for listening. If you're someone like chasing that next level and you got some value from this, like obviously, first of all, Chris, where should they follow you on Instagram? I mean, is Instagram the best place to follow you? Where should they go follow you, and what's your username?
Yeah, if you want to follow at real Chris Roberts, you'll see my Instagram. So got some good family stuff, just lifestyle and fitness, and you can find me there.
Awesome. Well, go follow Chris. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Until next time.
Hey, thanks.